Hey guys, okay, so I didn't get a video up yesterday. I apologize. I had a few appointments I had to go to. So this is week 3, and last week we talked about relationships and do they survive transition. So I'm just going to do a review real quick. I interviewed Toni, my spouse of 15 plus years, and we talked about how she saw me as an individual, and then what she thought had she not seen me, had I not been confident in myself and found myself, and these are the words she said, had you not found yourself and just been yourself, it probably would have been different had you come to me with transitioning. So to clarify that, which means what I said in the other video, is that I've always been me. Um, there was a period in my life where I did try to um, please society and the religious part of my upbringing and did not dress how I was comfortable. But when I finally decided that I'm going to quit pleasing people and just live to be me, that's when Ethan actually started developing inside, both emotionally and mentality wise. But she also said that, if a person, and again, this is what I said last week, if a couple truly knows each other and is in love, then a transitioning should not be, well, she said, if the person has found themselves. And I think that's the key words, because a lot of times we will see people on YouTube transitioning who didn't realize that they were transgender at all, just knew they were different. So, and when I've seen this, when I've watched these videos, the people have been older. So you go through life trying to please society and live as you're supposed to live. It's the same thing as being gay. People have been married, had family, done what they're supposed to do in life, and there's just something never right, and they know that it just eats at them to finally, 40 years into the marriage, 20 years into the marriage, they can't take it anymore. They have to be themselves. And I think that's us as humans. We evolve and we go through puberty, we start opening our eyes. Actually, about 8 years old, kids start getting their own personality, getting their way of thinking about things, and that starts developing. And then all of a sudden, here's the sexual um, part of your life starting to develop, and puberty hits. And then you get into your young relationships, and you're so in love, and a lot of it's physical, and a lot of times it survives depending on how you've been brought up. Um, but Toni does iterate that she feels in the relationship that the person has to find themselves, has to have found themselves when they got in the relationship, and that it's not a surprise to the other person. Now, if the person hasn't found themselves and has slowly started developing these, understanding more, because there's more out there on the media, there's more out there like on YouTube, and researching things and understanding, oh, this is why I feel this way. Again, I didn't know what transgender was. I don't even know if there was, well, I don't know if there was, transgender wasn't a word when I was a teenager. We only heard about transsexuals. So, there was a lot of people who were transgender, but it just wasn't put out there. So anyway, if you're in a relationship and you haven't developed, you haven't found yourself, but it's taken many years to get to that point, it could come on as a surprise to the other person, because maybe you never did dress manly, maybe you never did things manly, your characteristics and your expressions and your reactions and your responses were never in a manly sort. You were the female that that person fell in love with. Uh, is who they fell in love with, and then you come on and say, "No, I'm really transgender." That might be the only reason why, or I shouldn't, not the only. That may be a reason why that the relationship doesn't last through transition, because the other person is truly uh, attracted only to lesbians and not men. Now, another thing I brought up to Toni was, I've been thinking, and a lot of people that I know or that I have watched on the tube have been with partners who have either already had children or, uh, well, already have had children. And so my theory is with partners who are attracted to us female bodied, female born, physically born people is because they are attracted to the more masculine part of us that's inside. It's our mannerisms, it's our reactions, our responses, it's how we mentally think about things, how we mentally respond to things. And they see that strength and that masculinity in us, and that's what attracts them. And yet, we're still female, but they're just attracted. And that goes to show you the reason why I'm saying that is because in my first two relationships, they lasted 5 and 6 years each. They were heterosexual women who never had another relationship after me with another woman. But they were attracted to this person inside of me, who I was, not the outside. And so, anyway, if you're making sense out of this, um, that's another way of looking at how a relationship may or may not survive transition. Toni said to me, had you been any different and came to me about transitioning, she goes, I probably wouldn't be here. And we both agreed, actually, that had I been any different, um, we probably wouldn't have been attracted to each other anyway. Because we probably wouldn't have survived it anyway. Because she's a lesbian. And she actually said, I don't know how to identify myself anymore. Because society will identify me as a heterosexual woman. I identify as being lesbian, but I am in love with you, which makes us a heterosexual couple. And so it's just all confusing, and the labels get into all this stuff. So that's about relationships. I mean, you guys, I might have rambled around maybe the point. I do that sometimes, trying to get a lot out there in a short period of time. I'm already 8 minutes into the review of this topic, but I think it was really important to say, you know, look at your relationship, look how you've always seen each other, and had Toni came to me about transitioning right now, I'd say, you know what, I'm happy for you, but I can't be with a man because of how I feel. So anyway, there's just a lot of different things to consider in your relationship, and only you two know. And only you two know how your communication is. Only you two know how you are as individuals. And so it depends on all that put together. So that's enough on relationships. I'm 9 minutes in, and I'm going to talk to this week's topic is actually how does one fit in with the guys if they've known you as female? That's a good question. That's a good topic. Here's what my life has been. I've always hung out with the guys in my family. I always uh, hung out with um, more masculine women that are not transgender, but they are pretty tough women and have the male census, you know, and have the interests of what guys, the the guys we grow up with, who fix the cars, who fix the things around the house, who build things. That's a general masculine thing that over time has developed to be more women too. But my lesbian friends have all those are the kind of people I hung out with. I didn't hang out with lipstick women, the lesbians, real feminine women. If they were around me, it's because they were with one of my friends or they were with me in a relationship. So I always just kind of, we joke when we're drinking, ha ha ha. I used to always have a friend that said, uh, she used to call me Swindler, and she'd say, "Swindler, how's it hanging?" And I, of course, put it down to my knee, and everyone would just laugh. So they saw that sense, and they saw that male in me. Um, it wasn't a shock when I went to them. But how do you fit in with guys? And I think this question came from maybe a work site. How do you fit in? How have you fit in up till now? You know, don't quit being you, but as you transition, and this is coming from me, what I'm experiencing, as you transition, you start getting this confidence. And I know, and I've said this before on my videos, that it's weird because my brother-in-law and I have always had a pretty good relationship. When the family's together, we usually hang out and talk, da 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 da. My brother-in-law has been texting me. He calls me when I got sick really bad in the beginning. He called me twice to see how I was doing. Um, when we see each other, he bumps me, or shakes my hand. That's never happened before. Uh, Before I got sick, we were starting out riding our bikes together, our road bikes, so that we'd be on the bike path. And after we did our first run or so, he would bump me, and that's just something. So he's accepted me into that man space, is how I see it. And I think the reason why it's different because he's always accepted me as a more masculine female, but I looked female. And now that I'm changing, and everything's becoming more male, it's easier for him to identify with me. I think now, even at a uh, being closer to me. That's just what I'm thinking. Now, if I was working, if I had not got injured on the job, and I was still working, the people that I worked with, who I was close with, I know they would have accepted me because they already saw that in me. I talked with a fellow male peer about being gay. I came out to him and I said, but here's the thing. I don't really feel gay. I, I'm male inside. So it's not that I'm gay. And I said, maybe God made me this way because maybe if I was born male, because of my dad being an alcoholic, maybe I would have been a womanizer and an alcoholic and went way extreme, male, egotistical, testosterone, whatever it's called, been that kind of male. And he looked at me and he said, no. He said, if you were born male, I think that you would have been just as kind and good-hearted and spiritual as you are now. And he's a real A-type uh, male that I came out to and talked this about. And I didn't tell anybody else. I just felt I could talk to him. And he goes, I can see you. I see inside of you. And so just be yourself. Uh, when you come out to these people, they're the ones who are going to choose how they're going to act around you. If you give them ammunition, for example, if you've got some guys who, you'll never be a male, you don't have a effing dick, and these are stupid guys. Don't don't start the fight with them. Don't even feed into it. Tell them I'm just as much male as you are, and a dick doesn't change anything of how I feel. You know, there are guys who are born with 1 inch dicks. Does that make them any more or less male? No. It makes them probably a little insecure, and those are things that those people have to work on. But I truly feel that if they've known you as female, then they've known you as male. The only difference is you're changing on the outside, and it's how they take you into their personal space, like my brother-in-law. So don't feed into the, you know, machoism, the daggers, and don't hide in a corner either. Just hold your shoulders up and your chin up, or your shoulders back and your chin up, and say to yourself, I'm as a bit, I don't want to be a male like you. If you're a strong enough person, say, no, I'm not like you, and thank God I'm not, and walk away. Because we all are individuals. There are not two individuals who are alike. And males like to group together. You know, I went into the male world in my career at 35 years old because I was tired of all the catcalling, all the drama, and plus I never really fit in. And so I felt like I was on stage every time I went to work. Every time I was in the medical field, and every time I dealt with patients and stuff, I always felt like I was this have to giggle kind of female. And, you know, I was always in character when I was working. So I went into this all male world, the high testosterone, and what I found out is that men, they have to run in packs, and they are worse than women sometimes as far as the trauma. Now, if a guy has an issue with you one on one, usually you blow up, you get it out, and you let it go. Women carry grudges and want to get revenge, and they plot. There's the difference. So, I think, how does one fit in? Don't even ask yourself that. Just be you. Don't change as far as who you are. The only thing that's going to, the things that they're going to see changing is your confidence, your self assurance, your physical features, your voice, how you hold yourself. Don't try to be macho either. Be just you. If people reject you, if people are not in agreement with your transition, you never need them in your corner anyway. Get them out of your personal space. Only be acquaintances if it's at work. Be professional. Do your job. And you don't have to worry because guess what? You go home one way and they go home another way. So be yourself. And if you've got self-assurance issues, self-confidence issues, you had those before transition. Those are the things that should be priority into your life that you work on. Don't worry about the jerks and the women who don't accept you. Just be yourself. Okay? We'll see you next week, and next week's topic is going to be spirituality versus religion. Take care, guys. Take it one day at a time and make your journey as simple as possible.